Over the past many years, countless archaeologists and treasure hunters have tried to solve the mystery of Oak Island, also known as the Island of Oaks. In the end, however, none of them managed to uncover any solid results or real answers. Despite the island's breathtaking natural scenery and its peaceful, almost enchanting atmosphere, its past is filled with mystery, secrets, and tragic events. The legend of the island's treasure has completely consumed the minds of many greedy seekers, some of whom even lost their lives in their desperate attempts to find it. But before we dive deeper into this story, one important question remains. Where exactly is Oak Island? Oak Island is located about 200 meters off the southern coast of Nova Scotia, near the town of Windsor in Canada. It is one of more than 360 small islands scattered across Mahone Bay. Over the years, countless excavation attempts have taken place on the island, most of them focused on one specific location, a single mysterious pit. This pit became famously known as the Money Pit, or as some would later call it, the Devil's Pit. It also goes by several other names, and it is the main focus of our story today. In the summer of 1795, a young man named Daniel McGinnis made a discovery that would change history. One day, while sitting in his parents' home, Daniel noticed strange lights glowing in the sky above the island. Curious and uneasy, he decided to investigate. He took along two of his friends, John Smith and Anthony Vaughan, and together they headed toward the source of the mysterious lights. When they arrived, the lights had vanished. However, something else immediately caught their attention. On the ground, right where the lights had appeared, they noticed clear signs of a filled-in hole, as if the earth had once been dug up and then carefully covered again. Daniel and his friends quickly came to a conclusion. This had to be the work of pirates, and if pirates had dug this hole, then surely a treasure was hidden beneath it. At the time, stories of pirates and their hidden treasures were extremely popular, especially tales involving the infamous Captain Kidd, one of the most well-known pirates of that era. The next morning, the three young men returned, each carrying a shovel. They began removing the packed soil from the hole, digging until they reached a depth of about 3 meters. At that depth, they discovered something unexpected: wood at the bottom of the pit. The wooden structure appeared carefully arranged, and the moment they saw it, excitement overwhelmed them. They were convinced they had found the treasure. The wooden floor was made of oak planks, neatly cut and tightly fitted together with impressive precision. After removing this wooden layer, they found more soil beneath it and continued digging. 3 meters deeper, they encountered another wooden floor. Now, at a depth of 6 meters, they removed the second wooden layer, only to find more packed earth below. At this point, they realized they could go no further. Digging deeper by hand was extremely dangerous, and the pit could easily collapse and bury them alive. It's important to note that these young men were digging using only their hands and basic tools. No heavy machinery, no cranes, no modern equipment. Fearing for their lives and unable to continue, they decided to refill the pit, carefully hiding it so no outsiders would notice. They kept the discovery a secret, planning to figure out their next move later. 8 years passed before the three men finally convinced a wealthy and influential businessman to fund a professional excavation. The man agreed to hire a specialized digging company, and in the summer of 1804, the excavation officially began. The company removed the old soil and resumed digging from the exact depth where Daniel and his friends had stopped years earlier. Before long, they discovered a fourth wooden barrier, and 3 meters beneath it, yet another wooden platform. 3 meters further down, they found another one. It was incredibly strange. As the company continued digging, conditions began to change. They discovered pieces of charcoal embedded in the walls of the pit, along with coconut fibers. At the time, these materials were commonly used to protect valuable items such as treasure, jewelry, or precious metals. This discovery reignited their excitement. They were convinced they were getting closer than ever to the treasure. After a long period of digging, they uncovered a large, ancient stone engraved with mysterious symbols. Beyond the stone, however, they found nothing else. Eventually, the company was forced to stop the excavation, mainly due to the enormous costs involved. Some accounts claim the work also stopped because of a violent storm that struck the area. But when the digging stopped, a new mystery emerged: the strange inscription carved into the stone. Archaeologists were brought in to decipher the message. After careful analysis, they managed to translate it. The inscription read, "40 feet below, 2 million gold coins are buried." When the company learned the meaning of the message, their excitement returned once again. In 1805, they resumed digging with renewed determination. This time, as they went deeper, they discovered several gold coins. Their joy was overwhelming. They continued digging without rest, uncovering even more gold coins. The excavation continued around the clock, 24 hours a day. They refused to stop until they finally decided to take a short break, saying, "Let's rest for today and continue the excavation tomorrow." The very next morning, one of the workers ran toward his colleagues screaming. The pit had flooded. It was completely filled with water. The entire crew was devastated. All their hard work seemed wasted. But the company refused to give up. They brought in steam-powered pumps and began draining the water from the pit. At that time, gasoline or electric pumps didn't exist yet. Everything relied on steam engines. It didn't take long before tragedy struck. One of the workers was killed when a steam pump exploded. Even worse, the workers began to notice something disturbing. The water level wasn't going down. No matter how much they pumped, it was as if they were trying to drain the ocean itself. The pit simply would not empty. Eventually, broken and discouraged, they stopped digging. For the next 40 years, the mysterious pit remained flooded and untouched until 1845. That year, a new company formed a fresh expedition to search for the treasure. This time, they arrived with larger drilling equipment and more advanced pumps than the previous team. But after only 2 days of work, disaster struck again. One of the workers was found dead under mysterious circumstances. No one knew who killed him or why. The excavation was postponed for 4 years. In 1849, the company resumed operations. For 2 full weeks, they pumped water out of the pit around the clock. Finally, the pit was completely drained. Exhausted, they decided to take a short break and continue digging the next day. But when they returned the following morning, the pit was filled with water again, completely flooded. It was a crushing blow. After 2 straight weeks of non-stop pumping, 24 hours a day, the water had somehow returned overnight. Still, they refused to quit. This time, they tried something different, a clever new idea. They brought in a drilling device similar to an auger, a long hollow pipe with sharp teeth at its tip. The pipe was connected to a suction pump. As the drill bored deeper into the bottom of the pit, the pump sucked up mud and debris, sending the slurry into a large filtering screen. If there were any gold coins or metal pieces below, they would be caught in that screen. The drill began its descent. Soon, fragments of oak wood appeared in the filter. That meant there was yet another wooden layer beneath the pit. This pit was truly strange. As drilling continued, more wooden fragments surfaced, but this time the wood was different. It resembled the type used in coffin construction. Then something even more chilling emerged: partially decomposed human remains. They also found pieces of a gold chain, possibly worn by the body discovered below. After that, nothing else of value appeared. Technical difficulties piled up again, and excavation stopped for 2 more years. In 1851, they returned to pumping water, but once again, the water refused to drain. Eventually, the project was deemed too expensive and ultimately a failure. Still, the obsession continued. More attempts were made in 1859, then again in 1867, and one of the most notable efforts came in 1889. That year, they attempted to dig a parallel shaft beside the original pit, but toxic gases rose from the new shaft, killing one worker. Soon after, that shaft also flooded. Every attempt to control the water failed completely. In 1897, they lowered another drill into the pit. After extensive drilling, they recovered part of a message, but the water had dissolved most of the writing, making it unreadable. They also found a few gold coins, but not many. Over the following years, multiple companies tried their luck. Every single one failed. Then, in 1965, a company obtained official permission from the Canadian government to recover the treasure. They brought in modern pumps and managed to remove nearly 90% of the water from the pit. Only a small amount remained at the bottom. They lowered the drill again, both to remove the remaining water and to continue digging. But the drill struck a massive iron iron structure and could go no further. Then came the tragedies that finally ended the project. The expedition leader, a man named Robert, discovered his own son dead inside the pit, his body floating at the bottom. No one knew how he died, or who might have thrown him into that cursed hole. Shortly afterward, 2 more workers died. Autopsies revealed they had been poisoned by toxic gases. Many more expeditions would follow, but none succeeded. Over time, scientists began to understand why the pit always refilled with water. The answer lay in the brilliance of whoever designed it. Researchers discovered a complex network of underground flood tunnels connected to the ocean. Whenever digging reached a certain depth, seawater would automatically rush in through hidden channels and flood the shaft. And whenever explorers tried to block those tunnels, new ones, deeper and more concealed, would allow water to flow in again. Whoever buried the treasure had engineered a nearly perfect trap, a booby-trapped pit with no solution. In 1989, all excavation efforts were officially halted. The government refused to issue further permits in order to protect the island's natural beauty from destruction. Yet even today, questions remain. One of the biggest mysteries is the engraved stone found in the pit. In modern times, scholars re-examined the inscription and reached a completely different interpretation. Originally, the translation claimed it revealed the location of 2 million gold coins buried 40 feet below. But a more recent translation suggests something entirely different. It reads, roughly, "People will not forget the Lord. I, the priest, will pray for all." And with that, the mystery of Oak Island remains unsolved. Some scientists interpreted this writing as being connected to the remains of the coffin that were found in the pit. They claimed that among the coffin's remains were items linked to the early Coptic religion in ancient Egypt, and that the stone dated back to the time of the ancient Egyptians. There were also myths and legends suggesting that the pit does not contain treasure at all, but rather the devil's lair. According to these stories, the priest inside the coffin was placed there to prevent the devil from escaping. However, there has never been any concrete evidence proving that the coffin belonged to a priest or a Coptic figure, nor any solid proof that the stone dates back to ancient Egypt. All of these claims remain nothing more than theories and speculation. The truth is that many people have died on this cursed island while searching for the treasure. Even to this day, some are still trying to uncover it, yet no one has found a definitive explanation for the mysterious pit, nor has anyone uncovered the true secret of the cursed island. Now tell us in the comments, what is your interpretation of the cursed pit story? Do you believe there is really a treasure hidden there, or not? We hope you enjoyed the story. Don't forget to like and share this video with all your friends, and make sure to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next story. New episodes are released every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 9 p.m. New York time. Goodbye.